Hey guys, yeah, lots going on. Exciting morning. Still watching that Casper from my seat here, but time to bring in a new guest. First time on the show, we're going to welcome Carlos Moreta from bearbulltraders to discuss a little bit about their trading community, their website, how they work, some of the benefits you can get from being a part of a trading community. One of the things that we want to try and introduce and promote and make more of our world as well. The community style of trading, working as a team. There's Carlos. Good morning, sir. How are you today?
Good morning. Thanks for having me. Glad to be here. Doing well. Doing well.
It's been an exciting morning. Not sure if you were watching that Casper as it just opened there. A little bit of crazy price action on Casper today.
Yeah, we actually had our bigger winner today was Twitter. So a lot of our members were watching Twitter. I mean, it took off from the open. We didn't think, just like the show mentioned earlier, we didn't think it was going to break out of 38. It was getting very toppy there, and it still kept going. So that was our trade of the day today. We took it very early on. Some traders even took a pre-market trade. So again, it was just a very good move for us this morning.
Yeah, lots to get to as far as trading goes, obviously. Let's take a step back first off. I want to give you a chance to kind of introduce yourself, introduce bearbulltraders. Tell us about the website, how you got involved with them.
Yeah, so a little bit of my background. I used to be a mechanical engineer for a manufacturing company called Hire. They got bought out by GE and relocated to Kentucky. So that got me into trading. And while you're learning trading, especially for us retail traders, it's very difficult to trade by yourself. So I found that you need to be part of a community, and you need to be a part of a group of people that have the same goal. So in searching, I found a book called How to Day Trade for a Living by Andrew Aziz. And in that book, he talks about strategies, how to day trade for a living, and also the importance of being part of a community. And that's how I found bearbulltraders. And I've been with them for about 3 years now. I've been trading live for about 3 years as well. And you have to be a part of a community. There's so much benefit you get in being part of a community. So a few of the trading styles that we focus on is day trading. So obviously mainly on technicals, not really doing fundamentals, kind of what you guys do every morning. And the second part of it is do a little bit of swing trading as well, also based on technicals, not really looking at earnings and trying to catch moves based on news, just looking at the charts and see what kind of patterns are being built that we can take advantage of every day.
Yeah, lots of interesting points there. I want to take a step back, a little bit of a Canadian tie to bearbulltraders. Andrew, obviously, a couple of the guys, I guess. Tell us, a little bit more about some of the contributors to the website. Some of them out in Vancouver, I believe.
Yes, actually, before it was named bearbulltraders, it was called Vancouver Traders. And Andrew and Brian Pesson, which both have books out, we can share that later. They started Vancouver Trader, just kind of community to be able to day trade. What they found is, as many retail traders find after you trade for long enough, is that you realize that trading by yourself can really be boring and really difficult. The learning curve is a lot longer. So they created this community, a local community at that time, and then eventually they switched the name over about 2 years ago to bearbulltraders. Andrew sent out a message to the community and kind of asked, hey, what do you guys think about this logo? What do you guys think about this name? And he actually had the community vote on what name and what logo looked good for the community. So again, a very small, tight-knit community, focused really on a good environment, good positive learning experience for anybody that's a retail trader that wants to take their trading to the next level.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time here as well. I mean, we're sitting on a proprietary trading floor here. 30 plus traders all in the same room even gives you that sense of community and gives you the ability to bounce ideas off each other and kind of work together. As they say, as many eyes as you can kind of get on one topic is always going to be beneficial versus just having your own. Let's talk a little bit about the education aspect. bearbulltraders obviously offering an education aspect as well. Tell us about the course, what people can expect in it, and how you go about teaching that.
Yeah, so our courses are very basic starting out. We take you basically from A to Z, talking about the platform you need to get, what kind of brokers you need to be using. So a lot of trading communities don't get into the very fine details of the startup and the basic package. We really get into that. And we also bring in, one of the things you mentioned, I want to touch on this point, is about the prop firms, right? You guys have a lot of traders there. You guys have managers. You could work with each other. This is something that we really, really focus on because our training package is going to get you up to a certain point. The community is going to get you to the next level. And what I mean by that, retail traders, there's so many different ways to trade in the market. Our focus in our education center is to find a way that best fits your trading style. So we don't have a style of trading, say, hey, this is the one you have to do every single day. This is the one that works for everybody. trading is not a cookie cut system, right? You need to be able to find other opportunities that every trader is different, and what benefits, what their strong parts are, and what benefits that trader. So we really focus on that aspect. We also focus a lot on meetups, right? One of the biggest things about our community is that we do these local meetups of traders. Andrew and myself, other moderators, especially we have other people heavy in Canada as well. We meet up with our traders and see, what's going on, talk about trading a little bit, and also have a little fun, which is very important when you're in this career.
Yeah, it's a great point you make. I mean, when you're first starting out, you have no exposure to the markets, you have no idea what to look at and even how to go about trading it. We almost tell guys when they come in first to try everything. Try all styles of trading, try all ideas, and then kind of gravitate towards the ones that make the most sense to you. Tell us about your experience when you started. I mean, you said you've been trading for about 3 years now. What was the type of trading that you maybe started out on, and how has that changed versus now?
Yeah, so great question. I actually, since I had a long advance notice that my job was being terminated, I actually was in simulation for about 7 months. So that helped drastically to be able to be in simulation for 7 months, knowing that, hey, eventually I will go live at the start of 2018. So at first, those first 6 months, those first weeks are very tough. Your emotions are out of place. When you're day trading, when you have real money in the market, your emotions kick in, and it's very different than simulation. This is why our training program has a simulation program where we want to make sure traders are ready and know what to expect when they go live, because obviously things change. So for me, that first 6 months was very crucial. Ups and downs, what we can want to call a boom bust trader, right? You make good wins and you make good losses. Eventually, you cannot skip the experience and the learning curve, and I think that's the reason why the retail traders have a high % of failure rate. Is because people don't expect to get a results right away, and it takes time. After my first year, my year and a half, I really started seeing some consistency, and also more importantly, the style that I like. So really now I only trade an hour at the open. I trade 2 specific strategies: opening range breakup on the 5-minute and maybe a reversal. And that's what I stick to. I noticed that in other times of the day, I am not that successful. So traders need to find their niche and just stick to that and just keep doing it over and over again. And that sometimes traders do not get to that point. I was able to fortunately get to that point where I can find my niche and find what works for me personally in the markets.
And how long did that take for you, Carlos, as far as getting comfortable with something and being able to kind of translate that into profitable trades?
Yeah, it took about a year to actually find the style that I liked, and then it takes about another 6 months to really fine tune it and start increasing size, right? Because you can trade, like you said at the beginning, you should try everything and see which one you can identify with based on your personality. But then eventually you want to fine tune it, and then you want to start increasing size to be able to capitalize on these moves. So if I'll put it all together, I say a year and a half was when I really started seeing some really good progress in my trading.
And that's a great point. I mean, and you have to have the ability to kind of sustain yourself over that period of time. Yes. Instead of feeling the pressure, I guess, of life, and costs of life as you go along. But yeah, a year to a year and a half, definitely, I think a good time frame to have for anyone kind of thinking about even getting into it at this point. Let's shift over to trading. I mean, let's talk about the markets. Let's talk about your approach to the markets. You mentioned briefly there a couple of ideas. We take a little bit more of a macro approach and kind of work down to individual names on a daily basis, talking about the news, talking about why they're moving around, and then work off of levels on an individual basis. You mentioned Twitter this morning, obviously with earnings that were definitely to the upside. As far as your daily process, maybe let's take it down to that level. Tell us a little bit about how you approach the day, preparing for the day. How do you narrow it down to individual names that you want to trade?
Yeah, absolutely. So every morning we're looking at our gappers list to see what has gapped up over 2%, preferably. And what we do is we have this pre-market show on YouTube that's live, and we also have our channel for our members. So we start about 8:30 Eastern time looking at this gappers list and see what's on there. We go through every single stock, seeing which one has volume, which one has great which pre-market activity, because sometimes you can have the volume, could be a couple of block trades, and it's really not trading well. So we look for good pre-market activity, good volume, gapping up or down, and then we want to find out what the catalyst is that's causing this stock to gap up. So myself and Norm is another moderator also that does the pre-market show with me every morning. We prepare that and watch this. So we come out with about 15 to 20 on a good given day when the stock market, the SPY, is gapping up. Obviously, you have a little more because everything else is gapping. So we really fine tune it to see which ones have some news, are gapping over 2%, and have volume. From there, we start doing our levels based on the daily. So we go over to the daily chart, look at a bigger picture. Okay, where can we find some support and resistance on some of these levels? And we start plotting those in the charts. And while we're doing this, we're doing it with the entire community. So the entire community for new traders, this is especially important because now they're seeing how we're preparing our watches every single morning. So this helped me a lot when Andrew was doing it. Me and Norma are doing it now every morning. And then from there, we fine tune it to about 6 stocks that we like. And we watch those 6 stocks at the open looking for a possible opportunity to trade our strategies that we teach.
And is it a strategy? I mean, you mentioned it briefly there. We don't have to get too in depth into the actual trading style, but is it a strategy that you find success across a wide range of stocks? You know, we have different approaches to maybe small caps versus different approaches to some of the larger caps. We talked about Twitter there briefly. Is it a strategy that you can apply kind of on a blanket principle across any name?
That's a great question. And actually, we focus really on mid to large flow stocks. We do not focus on the low flow stocks. So anything really under 20 million shares flow, we're really not looking at. Those are tradable stocks, and you can make some really good money on those stocks. The problem is for new traders, which you really want to focus on, these stocks take a lot more experience to learn. The learning curve is a lot higher, and mistakes in these low flow stocks can really cost you. So for new traders starting out, we want to focus on mid to large flow stocks. You're not going to have the volatility and the movement where something can drop on you $1.50, and really hurt your account. So our strategies work very well within this mid to low flow stocks. So Twitter, AMD, MU, stocks like this are on a play on a regular basis. Even Tesla lately has been, obviously, you can't talk trading without talking about Tesla nowadays, has also been an opportunity to be able to trade these strategies.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride, to say the least, obviously, with Tesla over the past couple of trading sessions. I mean, from a retail standpoint, obviously, it's going to take a significant amount of equity to be able to trade the actual stock in the open market. Is there another approach maybe on the options side, or another idea that you had when it comes to Tesla and putting a trade on?
Yeah, there are actually a couple of traders. I don't do options myself. There's a couple of traders in the community that do options. We actually started doing webinars, which I'm going to talk a little bit about later. We started doing webinars to bring in experts on options and be able to show the community how to do it, how to use another vehicle in the markets. But I personally do not do options myself. Fantastic.
Let's talk about webinars. Let's talk about your process as far as educating the public and how you like to approach that.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like you mentioned, prop firms, you have a community there. You have people right on there. You probably can bring staff. You have managers that are able to help. Some managers, some communities, even some prop firms even have psychologists that are on site, right? So what we started doing recently over our last month or two is we started bringing experts into our community every Wednesday evening to talk about psychology, to talk about things that traders, that retail traders not have access to. Not every retail trader can go and just get, find a psychologist and pay them, right? It's not there in the budget. So we're doing that for our community to be able to get into that. And that slide you just brought up about the benefits of a trading community. I mean, the number one thing is to learn from each other. You have a group of people that have the same goal. You want to learn from each other, share ideas about trading platform. And one of the biggest things on there too is that support during challenging times. Day trading is not easy, and we are very clear on that when anybody that joins our community. You're going to need the support from your partners. You're going to need accountability partners as well. As in our community, you can find someone that you can have that peer-to-peer support, and you want to have a little fun as well. If this wasn't as fun as always, dragging, it'd be tough to do on a regular basis, especially during those challenging days.
Yeah, it's a great point. I mean, some days, obviously, you can apply the same principles, you can apply the same ideas, and get obviously drastically different results. So great points right across the board there. I'm going to bring in Neil and Sean here. They had a question over at the desk.
Sure.
Good to see you on, Carlos. Fantastic we get you. I have a quick question because you mentioned something about the simulation and then vetting out strategies with the least amount of capital possible. Free is obviously a good way to do that. Now here in our flow, we actually have new traders, we call them trainees. We tell them to expect to be in the simulator anywhere from 2-3 months at a minimum. Everyone's going to be a little bit different. Do you have any standard amount of time that you say you got to be in the simulator this long, or if you can trade paper for that long, or do you say everyone's going to be a little bit different? And you don't have metrics like that for advice?
Yeah, everyone's a little bit different, but we do plan for 3 months period. I think that's a really good goal. We even tell traders, trade 2 months in the simulator, learn the platform, and then go live for a week so you can see how your emotions are going to react. It's a whole different ballgame. Then do not feel afraid to come back to simulation, and feel things out a little bit. So at least you get the feel of what it's like to have real money on the line.
Actually, you said something which is a really good point there, learn the platform. One thing, we get traders that maybe come from other platforms and know different platforms. We've had someone who traded for years, and they came in, and it's like, learn the platform first. They were in a simulator for a month or two, literally just to learn the ins and outs of the platform, so they weren't making execution mistakes. And speaking of execution mistakes, do you have any particular philosophy when it comes to developing patterns or a certain level of practice you can do to make sure you're not making those common execution errors, whether it's training on keyboards or playing video games or having a set routine every single morning? Do you have any advice when it comes to that for your traders?
Yeah, we actually, what we tell them is you have to keep practicing over and over again in the simulation, and you have to try different ways. You could do it on the montage with the mouse, you could do it in the hotkey, but overall, it's all about practice. We tell our traders, you need to do practice until you cannot get it wrong anymore. And we're not talking about whether you're red or green. We're talking about not having these execution mistakes, and that's why that 2-month period is crucial. You need to trade for 2 months, even if you know how to trade. You need to trade a new platform for 2 months just to make sure you're not having these errors in a live account.
Absolutely, and a fantastic answer. I mean, I would echo those same things. So it's always nice to hear, advice that we like to give here, echoed with other successful mentors and trainers as well.
Carlos, I'm going to hit the confetti because you mentioned that we both had that big trade today, so we'll hit the fireworks as well on Twitter.
There you go.
And here's something else. Let's put a rain the money down. How do you like
this
like
graphic?
Rain the money down.
All right, let's rain the money down. Let's rain the money down for it right here. There it is. Let's catch that one, Carlos.
I got to say, you have the best effects ever, man. I love your effects. Beautiful.
Yeah, man, the effects are pretty sweet. And here we go. If you can call to my screen, guys, right now, this is what I was looking at with Twitter. And maybe a little bit hard to see here. And maybe you played the same kind of breakout. We were bumping on this 36.33, 36.50, all pre-market right around here. I actually took the trade at 9.18. That's a little bit out of my comfort zone. I don't like to take trades too much in the pre-market, so I want to ask you about that. And then it just accelerated up. I took 5 outs, each one 20% of my position until, unfortunately, I think I heard you mentioned that you and I had the same sort of thought here. Our last out is basically 37.96, so that's a $1.50 winner. So we celebrate that. But Carlos, what was your indication there that Twitter maybe did have this kind of a move in it? And congratulations again to you and all your viewers. I'm glad we had the same trade on that one.
Yeah, so in the whole entire pre-market, you see it banging up its head against that level.
Right.
I believe it was 36.50, right? Just kept going back to it. Right at the open, we saw the volume come in. We saw that it was strong. It again was, once it broke out of that 36.50, we knew that, okay, this thing is going to run and probably be strong for the rest of the day. And I did not think it was going to go this high. It was going to get a deeper pullback. We did not get that pullback. But a lot of our traders jumped in that second to third minute after the open was when we got in for a long. The level 2, the volume was coming in nicely. I mean, it was just a perfect setup. And you also have a strong catalyst behind it, which was just, you have the trifecta there to take that thing for a long, for a nice run.
Do you use, and again, not to give out your secret sauce, I mean, a lot of it is practice, but do you trade a lot of technical levels, like using VWAPs, or are you more of a guy that will trade like gap opens, like stocks taking off highs, kind of like that Twitter? There wasn't anything magical there, just the fact that it kept bouncing off 36.50. Right. I was with you on that trade as well. I often will take trades that bounce off VWAP as well, depending on your chart style and your reading and what kind of levels you're looking at. I want to show one more trade here on Qualcomm. This is another trade that I really like. Qualcomm today, of course, you're going to see this down 1.95%. Tanks, then basically makes a bottom down here at 86.25. What it does is come back up, makes that bottom again at 86.25, rejects it. I step in, just a couple hundred shares long down here. Again, look at that magic price. You can't see it, but it's 86. That's Tesla. There it is. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Carlos. Tesla, this is the magic level here on Qualcomm, 86.50. We take that for a ride. Unfortunately, just like my other trade there, we take out about a $2 winner, now up to $89. Did you have any love on Qualcomm? And is this kind of a trade that you'll take as well?
This is exactly a trade that we would take. And actually, we had this on our list, but we were so focused on Twitter. Twitter was just the play of the day for us.
Right.
But we did have Qualcomm on our list as well, because it did have some movement in this pre-market, some good volume as well, and it bounced lovely. So you guys took that trade perfect. So congrats there.
Yeah, man, thanks. Yeah, we're looking for all those. Another quick question, because we do so much.
No, there's a lot going on.
One more question, then I think Neil hit up one, and then we'll be done, I think, from here. How many positions will you just hold one position? Sometimes I catch myself holding 2 or 3 spots, and then I'll notice like I like a short on one stock, and then I'm long on the other, and then the market. So I'm trying to put a lot of risk into basically one name. I don't mind having 2 or 3 spots on at once, but I would prefer to have a lot of risk on one name and then maybe small half units or so on and so forth on other stocks. Do you primarily hold one trade at a time?
Yeah, primarily I do one trade at a time. At the most, I'll do 2, but I hate doing it when I have one long position and one short position, because I have done hockey errors on that where I add more when I want to get out of a position, and we scale out a lot. So, we're hitting our hotkeys constantly, kind of the way you do. Not as many trades as you had today, 150, I think I heard. But yeah, definitely you can have some hockey mistakes if you have that difference. But I think 2 positions at a time is my max for me personally. But we have other traders that have been doing this for a while that do a lot more if they're comfortable with that, with that type of trading.
Right.
One last one before you throw you back to Brennan. We could probably keep you here all day. And thank you for giving us market time here. But I wanted to talk about Tesla because you brought it up. A lot of your strategies you mentioned, you're looking at opening, you're doing your research. The market opens and Tesla's going to be one of those volatile names. I mean, just looking at my chart here, I was looking at 787 the last few days. And you sort of wait for it to get into this range, and as we were talking and doing all this, I get chopped up here, but there is a bit of a retracement through that price. We're able to take $8 out of it. But my question to you is, if you don't necessarily have those levels in the pre-market, but there's just volatility and opportunity, how often are you jumping into something like a Tesla, maybe picking out some key levels, looking for support and resistance, or just playing a general trend when it's doing these types of moves and giving so much opportunity?
Well, absolutely, because think about it. As the candles are being built, that's your most recent information. So sometimes we have these stocks that are all past all-time highs. You're not going to have any levels up there. You got to look at the price action, see what the candles are giving you. That's the best information you have to make a decision. So looking at the price action, the way the volume is trading is very important. You can take a trade without having these levels. These levels help you to be able to determine some targets and some stop losses, where you can find some changing direction, support and resistance. But overall, if you see all the technicals in regards to price action and everything looks good for a possible trade, we will take the trade. Absolutely.
Yeah, and all I got to say for myself is if I got to stop taking 5 to 10 when you can get 10 to 20 on Tesla almost every single time. You have to adjust your thinking, I think, when you're in this name. It's just a little bit more volatile and more upside than you're used to. So sometimes you have to hold a little bit more, I think.
Yep, absolutely.
Great. Carlos from Bear Bull Traders will throw you back to Brendan at the desk. It's been a pleasure. We hope to get you on again. Take it away, Brendan.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Yeah, Carlos Moreta joining us from Bear Bull Traders. Amazing information. Thank you so much for the time today, Carlos. Any upcoming events you want to plug as far as your website is concerned, or upcoming webinars maybe?
Yeah, so we do have Mike Bellafiore coming up next week, Wednesday evening. So he's going to be talking about psychology and performance in regards to retail traders. We had him before. He's an amazing guy. He's, if you guys know, he has wrote several books already. He's also from a prop firm, so he has a lot of experience and background. So we're looking forward to that. We also have a meetup. So if you guys are in New York, in the New York area, February 21st, we have a meetup. Andrew, myself, and other moderators are going to be there. So it's on us. Come down, let's hang out, and let's talk trading.
Yeah, absolutely. Carlos, why don't you give everyone your social media, Twitter handle? Maybe we just threw it up there, but give it to them one more time.
Yeah, it's at bearbulltraders. And also you can find us at www.bearbulltraders.com, and all the information we talked about you can find there as well.
Fantastic. Carlos Moreta joining us from Bear Bull Traders, everyone. Thank you so much, sir. It was a real pleasure. Hope you'll come back and visit us again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
There you go, guys. Carlos Moreta from Bear Bull Traders. What a pleasure. Great guy, great guest. Lots of good information there. Go check out their website, bearbulltraders.com. Let's go back to the guys.